So firstly, thank you to ActionAid Nirja for inviting me, and it's been a pleasure since the morning to hear all the discussions, Kirti Bhai and Professor Agarwal and others, and a good amount of temptation would be to leave this topic aside and start responding to some of the things they were saying, but possibly we'll get a chance for that next week. So I just want to touch upon some of the things from Mumbai, but this would be a story anywhere in the country. I have had an engagement with waste management in Mumbai since 1994-95, so it's more than 24 years, 20 years now. And like I keep saying that this is actually, in my opinion, one of the easiest of problems to solve when we talk of our urbanization context. Housing is difficult, as we've seen. Solving traffic congestion is a nightmare. Air quality is a problem. Too many variables to handle. But waste management is, in my opinion and opinion of a lot of people, a very comparatively easier thing to solve. And yes, yet this is the kind of a situation we see in city after city. This is a picture I took last week, I think, in Navi Mumbai, in Kharghar, where conservancy workers are on a strike and they're not collecting garbage. And so if you go there, it's a very pretty sight now. Every corner has these kind of garbage heaps, and you have some very premium buildings, and outside them you'll see their dustbins overflowing with garbage. And interestingly, in response to the crisis, I got to hear that a lot of buildings suddenly woke up that possibly they could reduce sites like these outside their building if only people were segregating garbage at source. And so some buildings now have suddenly realized that there is something called a segregation, and please keep your dry and wet separate. Give the dry to your Safai Karmchari, and he or she will make extra money from it. And suddenly people have realized there is something called as composting as well, and possibly if you compost your wet waste, then nothing comes on the street. But this is the kind of a crisis we are seeing not just in Mumbai, but 1 million city, 500,000 city, 100,000 city, 10 million city, each city. This is what is happening around the country. And so the big question is that, yes, we are talking the new urban agenda, and we had Habitat 2, Habitat 3, Habitat 1. And I'm sure a lot of these things were a constant thread. And waste is not just about waste, it is about livelihood, it's about ecology, it is about, in a huge way, about governance, it is about innovation, and a lot of things surround Kachra. And we're saying that nothing much has changed in 15-16 years, except that it's a tragedy that we've been landed with something called as the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, which is in a sense really a mockery of the kind of accumulated knowledge in 20-30 years, experience, innovation, and so much which has been done. So basically nothing has changed. And this is in a sense a moot point, which I want to say that a lot of things are not adding up. We know this whole phrase, whole is more than the sum of the parts. But in the current system of waste collection, the true cost, environmental, social, is not being captured in the budgets of municipal corporations. In Mumbai alone, last year we saw a huge fire in our main dumping ground, Devnar, and the Bombay High Court passed an order after that saying that we will ban construction in the city. And it gave explicit orders that to the municipal corporation. I have a lot of complaints with the judicial system, and I don't think the judiciary, like even Sitaram was saying, they don't understand humanity, they don't understand a lot of stuff. And I think, so my reply to the court even that time was that Mumbai, according to the official statistics, is generating 9,500 tons of waste every day. And even if it were to generate double of that, 20,000 tons per day, using all the knowledge we have, we can handle 20,000 tons of waste. Now the judicial approach was, unless you don't provide new dumping grounds or improve the capacity, we will not allow construction to happen. They were doing a 1-to-1 correlation. If there are 1 lakh buildings in Mumbai today, and if those buildings become 2 lakh, then waste will go up from 9,500 tons to 18,000 tons. If you require Devna dumping ground, which has a certain capacity, you will require 2 Devna dumping grounds. So find equivalent amount of land and please make. So this was like completely ridiculous. I mean, I had to remind the court that there were judgments by the same Bombay High Court 10 years, 12 years back, which were very progressive. So a lot of times our administration, one IAS officer is not in touch with what another IAS officer did 10 years back. one Bombay High Court Chief Justice or judge is not in touch with what another Chief Justice said 10 years back. And some of us who are into activism and advocacy actually end up becoming the living memory of those institutions. Unfortunately, those institutions themselves do not have any mechanism where a current Chief Justice of Mumbai High Court will go and read an order by the Bombay High Court, and somebody like me or any one of us who are working in this realm has to show it in his or her face and say that what you're saying is completely contrary. You yourself can be tried for contempt of court, actually. So this is the irony of a situation that we are working in. And the second point which I want to make is that after talking so many years of sustainability and environmental economics, we are just not able to apply those principles in our day-to-day working. So when I think of all these UN level agreements and Paris and Habitat and human and the new urban agenda, etc., I'm a bit befuddled. I mean, just the basics we are not able to implement. Where are we going to come to the rocket science part of it? So this is the basics. I mean, this is a graph we've been seeing. I mean, I think from my school to my college to from the first compost pit I set up, that prevention is really at the top. And what we are doing is continuously going to the bottom, which is disposal. Just 10 days back, Columbia University has Columbia Global Centers, and one of those centers is in Mumbai. And they invited a professor of theirs who wanted to speak about some waste formula or rating that he's developed. But essentially it was about waste to energy. So the waste to energy lobby has been really powerful in the past 10-15 years in the country. And we continuously keep seeing them camp in different ways or the other. And I had to pull back words from the professor's own presentation and use it against him, because he was simultaneously using words like evolution and leapfrog, where at one point he was saying that Mumbai or the global south cannot evolve to become like the global north, which is like Sweden. And we keep hearing about Sweden having done a great job of treating its waste. And at the other end, he was using words like leapfrog. So I said, you make up your mind. Either we do evolution and within 30 years become like Sweden, or we leapfrog and become like Sweden within today. And forget within today, I can show you examples 20 years back where we had already leapfrogged Sweden in 1995, 97, 2000. And all of these are years when I have participated as much younger age with municipal commissioners that time who were very progressive. And then in 2005, with the coming of this whole monster called PPP, public-private participation, the partnership, we saw a complete reversal where the whole idea of privatizing waste collection, dumping grounds, tipping fee came in. And in a television debate last month, when actually the municipal corporation asked for an extension, Bombay High Court gave them a time up till June 30th, 2017 to add more dumping ground capacity. And municipal corporation submitted an affidavit saying that sorry, we are not able to do it, and please give us an extension of 3 months. And the Bombay High Court gave an extension. So I'm writing a letter, but in the television debate, that's what I was saying, that Mumbai is spending 300 to 400 crores every year, and this is across the city, across the country, Delhi, Bangalore, everywhere. We are paying to the transport lobby. What they do is, like the first picture I showed you, just collect all the garbage the way it is and go and dump it somewhere. We call it landfills. Those are not landfills. Those are plain simple garbage dumps. And we're using the taxpayers' money to actually throw more oil onto a fire. We have the Delhi dumping ground. I've captured some images afterwards over here. This is the Devnar picture last year, and NASA, this thing caught. And from the trail of the smoke, you can make out the smoke is coming towards South Bombay, which is the affluent neighborhoods. The Malabar Hills of the world, which had never experienced a Devnar dumping ground and only used to keep sending waste over there, was soon exposed to the fire because this was in Jan-Feb, and because of the northern wind, the wind was blowing towards the south. And this is again last year from... No, Gorai they closed down in 2008, 9, 10. And Gorai is a very interesting, I've got a separate presentation on Gorai. I'm happy to engage you on everything which went wrong at Gorai. So this is in Delhi, and I saw this just 2 days back, that again the dumping ground was on fire. And I'm saying that if this is the kind of a scenario, then this is what we are doing is equivalent of putting more oil into the fire. Sending trucks full of oil and saying, okay, here's a great fire burning, let's make it burn bigger. And that is, and we are not doing it with private money. There is no PPP. There is taxpayers' money involved on a per ton basis. In Mumbai, we are paying 500 rupees to 1000 rupees a ton of waste collected, which can be transported to the dumping grounds. And that's adding up to 300, 400 crores. And in 300, 400 crores every year, there is just so much of innovation, just so much of livelihood, such so much of sustainable measures of waste management that you can fund. Forget 300, 400 crores. In 100 crores, you can do that. But if waste management entrepreneurs go to the municipal corporation, they don't get an iota of support. Land, and I'll come to those slides. Again, this is a picture which I took in November in Gandhinagar. And Gujarat especially is a good place to do any conversation nowadays. This is happening in Gali Kona of Gujarat. Everywhere I was seeing in Gandhinagar and Surat I went. People are overwhelmed. And this is also around the country, but you know why I'm using Gujarat. But around the country, people are overwhelmed, and municipal corporations and workers don't know what to do, and they're just collecting waste and just putting it to fire. And this is where our dioxins and furans and everything, which is combustion happening at low temperature, and which is also giving power to the waste to energy lobby. They're saying that this is where dioxins are getting produced because plastics are getting burnt at low temperatures. But what we're going to do is we're going to burn them at a very high temperature, and that's where dioxins will not come up. So this is the kind of unfortunate situation which we are seeing everywhere. And of course, this is also a very politically strong statement. That so this is really the height of it, and you can't just say anything more than that. Ultimately,
It has a UID card.
I'll check next time. I'll let you know. Next time I'll start along with the photograph taking that also. So this is a kind of a situation that forget public health, etc. Now your religious icons itself also, for which you have so much of protection, are left to that kind of a state. And this is also, now I want to link to livelihood, which we've been saying for 20 years now, that all of these people who are engaged with waste collection, and this is the same person then trying to retrieve the plastic bottles from which we are drinking water, and so much of other stuff, this can all be segregated at source. And this is so dehumanizing. We're not adding any dignity to their life at all. These are the same people using the 300 crore budget which we are sending to for transporting waste to dumping grounds. We can retrain them. They can become excellent composters. They can run biogas plants. They can lead a life of dignity. They can call themselves waste entrepreneurs. And this is not what we are doing. We can solve their housing problem. We can solve their health problem. 10-12 years back, Mr. Keval Simlani, some of you might know, RTI activist, he is no longer there, but he had filed a thing about a lot of these conservancy workers were necessarily having alcohol because the work was so dirty, and especially the ones who were on the dumping ground. And because they were having alcohol, their lifespan was just 40-45 years. All of them were dying of liver cirrhosis. And why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? All of these people can live a life of dignity and be waste entrepreneurs, ladies like this. And this is the impact we're talking on ecology. This is amongst from my early activism. I played a very strong role in saving all these mangrove forests. But we couldn't save the forest from that small patch which you will see. This is a transit garbage dumping ground. And this is in the middle of these mangroves. All the plastic and the leachate goes into the mangroves. And from here, waste is transported to the bigger dumping ground, which is Devna. And like I keep saying that, and this is true for cities around the country, even in Calcutta, when in the morning the example was given. I'm not touching on the issue of liquid waste right now. We're just sticking to solid waste. But in the picture behind you see, those are sewage lagoons. And that is where a bulk of Western Mumbai's sewage goes, is treated and then discharged into the creek behind that. And I have a very strong point of contention with the municipal corporation, which wants to spend 2,000 crores in the next 3 years to build centralized sewage treatment facilities. Now they're doing it. Sanjay Mukherjee, who's in charge of that. And with all the knowledge we have from entrepreneurs and experts around the country, we can do such great decentralized sewage treatment, whether it is black water or grey water. Large gated communities, institutions, colleges, schools, municipal buildings, they can all be treating this sewage within their premises. If not using it, then discharging a far vastly treated sewage into the sewerage. So that is a separate topic of liquid waste treatment. I'm just sticking myself to the solid waste. So this is the impact on ecology, where all our dumping grounds are situated on CRZ1 areas in Mumbai. But again, if you go to a Chennai, the situation is bad. If you go anywhere, I mean, in Delhi, they're on wetlands. In Hyderabad, it's a bad situation. Bangalore, we've seen lakes, entire pristine ecosystems getting completely wiped out. So neither is there a concern for livelihood, health, nor ecology. Now, this is a successful example which I try to keep hammering at everything. I mean, even with the Columbia University professor who was trying to push for waste to energy plants, and his contention was that there is no way you can reach to a pseudo level of consciousness with so many levels of segregation. And in the interim, what you can do is pick up all your Devna dumping ground waste, put it into an incinerator, burn it, generate electricity from it, and he was asking for 30 rupees a kilowatt hour, I think, which I said was mad. I mean, you're getting solar energy at 7 rupees or lesser than that. I mean, with the new bidding, it is 3.55 rupees a unit. Why would you ask for a subsidy of 30 rupees? So then he poses a question back to me that, okay, if you're talking that buildings can become zero waste building, tell me how many buildings do you know? I told him I know 100 buildings. I can take you right away if you... So he said 100. How many total buildings are there? I said 1 million in Mumbai. So he says, there's your answer. 1 million buildings, you're showing me only 100 buildings, the maths does not add up. I said, it does add up. I mean, if you were to use the full might of the state, use the full might of the state in terms of its budget, in terms of its manpower, within 6 months, you can go from 100 to 100,000. All that is required is enforcement. We are so bad at enforcement. I mean, the laws, MSW 2000, 2016, again and again are giving ample amount of power for enforcement, which they're just not doing. And that's why I'm saying solid waste management is the easiest of topics, issues in urbanization to solve. Not just solid, but even liquid waste. So if I'll just show you an example of one of my favorite buildings, 232 families managed to do such a high level of segregation that in any other building you would see these kind of Tetra Packs smeared with wet waste. 4-day-old dal, vegetable waste, chicken curry, anything. But this building practices such high levels of segregation that all kind of dry recyclable waste comes out in very clean way. The person whose hand you see over here is Jayant the broker, who's the one who's handling that whole society. And using his help, now we are spreading it to 10 other buildings in the neighborhood. And this is debris, which is again going separately. This is, they collect all their cans, etc. separately and do this kind of a thing. In any other kind of a scenario, you would have seen a municipal worker first put it into a compactor and then trying to retrieve it, or at the dumping ground, some 10-year-old kid doing it. All their wet waste is getting completely composted. And all of this they're using for composting, for landscaping, or they're just distributing it to the neighborhood. And even if they were to give it to the municipal system and it would get dumped at the Devna dumping ground, you're far better off with this kind of a compost being dumped over there. But of course, now we have laws where you want to mix your urea fertilizer with compost, etc. And again, there is a whole point being made about mixed solid waste and creating compost. I mean, we are clearly seeing heavy metals, leachate getting into it. The quality of compost is not good at all. Now, if we believe so much in the markets, we would start pricing waste in a proper manner. And coming back to the original point which I made, that a whole lot of maths is not adding up. If you were to compute all the environmental social costs, the current way of waste management is just so costly. You are better off with just pricing your waste and saying any entrepreneur who steps in gets paid so much amount of money by the municipal corporation. That's a separate long topic. But this is how they're doing it. And if 100 buildings can do it, we can go to 100,000 buildings, we can go to 1 million buildings, we can go to 10 million buildings. This is what was expected. In fact, when morning speed and scale was mentioned, then I remember our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, having mentioned that, I think, in earlier part, that if you have to copy China, speed, scale is important. And waste management is one place where speed and scale, we've got 3 years now of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, but nothing has happened. And so this is just to give you a picture of some of the deliberations we've been having in Mumbai, but similar, I think, around the country. This is in 2013 with Toxic Links. We did a discussion. The two gentlemen in the figure below you see, he is the chief engineer for waste management, and this gentleman is now the member of parliament from Mumbai, Rahul Shivale. And this is Mr. Sinha from Toxic Links. So these kind of meetings keep happening. This is the contribution some of us made in January 2014 to the Mumbai Development Plan. And the simple premise we said was that Mumbai was divided into 151 planning sectors. And we said that no single planning sector's waste should leave its boundary. That should be the planning principle. And each sector should be self-reliant in terms of its waste management. Nobody should throw waste into somebody else's backyard, and that's a big problem in Mumbai because people in the eastern suburbs keep saying that you're treating us and our area as the dumping ground, and everybody else has got a great life. And this is a recent meeting we had last year. This gentleman over there, you're the municipal commissioner of Mumbai, with whom I think, without exception, everybody in the civil society is extremely unhappy, and only waiting for him to move out so that we can begin our re-engagement. This is a meeting which I was completely unhappy with, but some of the points I'm making over here. And just to kind of, in a sense, be slightly nasty to him or tease him, I said, I mean, in not so many words, but my underlying tone was that you're incapable of doing anything. But the least you can do is appreciate buildings like I have shown, the zero waste buildings on the municipal corporation website. Just do that much. You can't do anything more. I'm not expecting anything more from you. We've got 100 buildings in the society, in the city, which have become zero waste. They're not sending any waste to your dumping ground. Please just have a ceremony where you're shaking hands with them, felicitating them, giving them a brochure, a certificate, and carry it on your website. That's it. So next time when people are visiting, maybe they get inspired with that. But unfortunately, this is the kind of a situation where we are left with, that you cannot engage with your own municipal corporation and on our agenda, which I believe is very simple. So this is the last thing which I want to say, that we need to have more deliberations. But also the point which I want to elaborate on tomorrow, that you need to really support local level advocacy groups, people who are bottom up fighting with the administration, trying to convert your